Hi everyone, welcome to this live event where we are going to be talking about how you can get more clients and sell from the stage and effectively master public speaking so that you have the confidence and the ability to stand in front of an audience and stand in front of clients. Most importantly, hi, whoever's just joined us, Eam, I hope I've pronounced your name correctly there. Welcome to the webinar. Again, if you've got any questions, we've literally only just kicked off. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them into either the chat box or into the Q&A box, and we will answer them as we go through. So I'm happy to take questions as we run through. Be curious to know what kind of business, what it is you do, what's your interest factor, what appeals to you about this webinar, why are you here basically. So let's kick on into the content. And the first thing I want to talk about tonight is why people fail when it comes to selling from the stage. What is it that causes all of the issues? What is it that causes all of the struggles? First thing that always holds people back is fear. That fear of public speaking, that fear of getting in front of an audience is what stops so many people from experiencing success when it comes to selling from the stage, because they won't even let themselves get up on the stage. First thing and most importantly, when we'll talk about tonight, is fear and how you can overcome that fear of public speaking. Then for those that do get up on stage, that those people that get up on stage try and sell and try and deliver a pitch, they have no rapport. They've got no connection at all with the people they're talking to. Creates a massive, massive problem, because if you don't have any rapport, you don't have a connection, people aren't going to trust you. So you need to build up a level of rapport with your audience. And we will cover all of this tonight. You've also got to have a crystal clear purpose. You've got to know exactly what the end game is. You've got to be able to take your clients and take your audiences down the path and lead them along a particular journey. If you don't know where that journey ends, your audience and your clients have no idea either. So you've got to have a clear purpose when you are up on stage, when you are pitching and when you're selling as to what the next step is. Coupled with that though, you've got to have a level of individuality. You've got to be yourself. You've got to have your own persona and personality. You can't pretend to be someone else. You can't pretend to be a more maybe moderated version. If you're a loud extroverted person, then be extroverted on stage. If you're a more quieter personality, that's okay. Be who you are. Don't try and be someone who you're not. Don't make the mistake, and this is again where many people fall over, is they've got a level of overconfidence. They are overconfident. They think they know their material. They think they know their business back to front. They think they know their clients like the back of their hand. And as a result, they don't prepare their presentation. They don't prepare their pitch correctly. And you'll see as we go through the content tonight that it is absolutely crucial that you get to know who your clients is, what their pain points are. All of those comes together so that you can prepare the right pitch. You cannot deliver a great sales pitch when you are unprepared. You are just asking for failure. And that's what's cost so many people sales, is because they're not prepared to properly pitch and haven't put the right consideration, the right thought into what they're going to share with their clients to get the result that is best for the clients and best for themselves. So coupled with that one is obviously ignoring pain points. If you don't talk about a client's pain points, they are not going to have any interest in whatever product services that you have to offer. You have to have a clear understanding of what the client's pain points are, and you've then got to deal with them. You've got to address them. If you're not addressing them, then you're not going to have any success. So don't ignore pain points. You can't be boring either. You can't be someone who is putting your audience to sleep. You've got to have energy. You've got to have enthusiasm. You've got to have passion for what you're pitching. And it's interesting. I wrote a blog article about this earlier today, and I'll touch on it a little bit later. I've seen it with some really large corporate sales professionals that are selling solutions that are multi-zeros at the end of a price tag. And one half is interested and excited. The other half was apathetic and just had no energy or enthusiasm. It made for a marked difference in the outcome. So when you are pitching, when you are standing on stage, you cannot be boring because it's going to destroy your credibility. You've got to then couple that with an irresistible offer. It's no good standing up confidently on stage, talking about the right pain points, getting your audiences, getting your clients interested and engaged in you, getting them buying into your credibility to then give them an offer which is not attractive to them. You've got to have an offer which is irresistible. You've got to tease it out and you've got to present it and pitch it in such a way that they want your products, your services at the end of your presentation. Coupled with that, you can't transition to the actual offer in a weak manner. And this is where many people start to stutter and stumble and fall down, is that they have a very weak transition into closing. They become apologetic. They're really happy, really confident when it comes to delivering like the how-to, the informational piece. And then when it comes to the point where you're presenting and pitching your offer, you're saying, this is how I can help you. They back away and they become weak. They become small. You can't do that. If you're making those mistakes, you are again costing yourself sales. Again, you've got to deliver it all with passion, energy, enthusiasm. If you can't get energetic, if you can't get enthused about your solution, your product, your service, your clients aren't going to either. So make sure that you deliver your pitches with lots and lots of passion, but avoid the temptation to just spend 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, however long you've got. Don't spend it just hawking your products and services. You can't be the classic sales guy that's just the old style salesperson that's talking about pitching your product the whole time, hoping that effectively you can crack the walnut open and get a sale. You've actually got to be far more subtle. You've got to be far more mature about it these days. And that means pitching in a way that shows that you can demonstrate credibility and then at the very end show this is how you can help them. If you're doing a 60-minute product pitch, you're going to get basically shown out the door. So why do you need to be speaking? Why do you need to be getting up on a stage and selling from the stage? This is why. It boosts your brand awareness. When you are in business, when you can stand up in front of an audience, you have the attention of a room, whether that room's got 10 people in it, 100 people, or even 1,000 people. That's the way to boost your brand awareness. You'll get recognized by your clients, you'll get recognized by your competitors, and importantly, you'll get recognized by other influencers that will help then shape and promote your brand. You become the trusted expert in the process. So your audiences and people see you, your marketplace sees you as their trusted expert because you have put yourself out there. You've positioned yourself by sharing valuable, useful, practical information that enables people to buy into you. They buy into what you say, and they buy into how you go about approaching the problem. As a result, they trust you and they see you as the expert. When you sell and pitch on the stage, you're also in a position where you can encourage your customers, you can encourage your potential clients to take the action that you need them and want them to take. And it positions you ahead of your competitors because when you are pitching on a stage, when you have the attention of a room, if there's 100 people in the room, there could be 90 customers and 10 competitors. Those 10 competitors can't say anything, can't do anything while you are pitching. In other words, you have the attention of the marketplace. That's the true power of public speaking, is because you command the room, you command the attention, and you get to have everyone's eyes, everyone's ears, and everyone's thoughts all concentrated on you, your expertise, and your offer. That's super powerful. And as a result, guess what happens? You get to make sales. That's why selling on a stage is so powerful. It all comes down to this. People do business with people they like, know, and trust. Now, we've seen and heard this statement a number of times. Every networking event I go to, this gets pumped up there. People do business with people they like, know, and trust. Yeah, yada, yada, yada. And it glosses over. But think about it from a speaking and from a selling point of view. When you are up speaking, when you're on the stage, people get to know you. They get to like what you say and how you approach it. And as a result, they get to trust you. That's where the sales come from. So that's why I put this comment in there, because I really want to drill this home. This is the power of speaking on a stage, is that you get to build that like, know, and trust factor without competition, without anybody else being able to take away any attention of your ideal market away from you. So just a little bit about me, and we'll get into the real content of this webinar. I have been helping people improve their pitching, their public speaking skills, and their ability to influence now for about the last 10 years. I've coached probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people to actually develop their speaking skills so that they can basically leverage the same techniques that I've used in my corporate career that's enabled me to sell, I think it's over $100 million at last count, of really complex solutions. And I've pitched those solutions and sold those solutions to some of Australia's most biggest and toughest corporate executives. So I know how to craft a message. I know how to deliver a message and build that like, know, and trust factor across organizations and across the corporate sphere. What I do now through the Public Speaking Skills Academy is basically teach business owners and corporate leaders how to do exactly the same, so that they can sell themselves and sell their projects and sell their products and services from the stage and increase their influence in the process. What we're going to cover tonight is a lot of information. So I'm going to provide you with a lot of information that is all practical. It will make a difference to your very next pitch, your very next presentation. It's all proven techniques. I'm not going to hold anything back. And ultimately, I'm here for you beyond this session. As I said, we're going to cover a real lot of information tonight. So a couple of things. If you want a copy of the PowerPoint slides, I'm happy to send them to you. What I will ask you to do is at the end of the presentation, just drop me a note in the chat box or in the Q&A box to say, hey, can you send me a copy of the PowerPoint slides, and I will send them across to you. That's not a drama. Because we're going to cover an awful lot of information tonight, I also have some ways that I can help you beyond this session. Hang around and I will show you how potentially how I can help you beyond this session, from free options through to some paid programs, just so you're aware that they're coming up. Now, at this point here, I'd love to get your feedback and understanding of where you are at in business at the moment, and ask the question, have you ever sold anything from the stage? And whether that's successfully or unsuccessfully, and if you have done successfully sold from the stage, I'll try saying that a couple of times, did you get good results? I'd love you to just drop a comment into the chat box or into the Q&A box and just let me know whether or not you've actually been able to successfully sell from the stage. And if you were unsuccessful, what do you think was the catalyst for making it success? What would you do differently next time? So while those comments come through, we will push on. So let's talk about now what makes a great sales pitch. A great sales pitch is this. It's original. It is your original thoughts, your original points, your original understanding and take on a client's situation with valuable, useful, practical information. In other words, it's that not holding anything back. It's being open, honest, and transparent with your clients and how that they can potentially solve their problem. A good sales pitch uses a proven formula, and that proven formula is what we're going to be covering here a bit later on in this webinar, is the proven structure of a great and successful sales pitch. It solves problems. You cannot be holding information back. You have got to show that you can solve an audience's and a client's problems before they will trust you. If you withhold information, they will sense that, and as a result, they won't trust you. You've got to be completely honest and transparent with them. Now, this is where a lot of people start to get nervous. A lot of business owners start to get a bit anxious at this point, because it's around, well, if I share all of the information, the client could go off and do it themselves. Yep, that's true. But the reality is they could do that anyway, because they could find the information from Google. They can find it from a whole range of sources. The reality is they're going to turn to you to help them if you demonstrate that you know your material, you know their problem, you know how to solve their problem. They're then going to ask you to come in and solve it because it's quicker, easier, and more time effective for them. If they truly wanted to solve the problem themselves, they would have done the research and done it themselves. It's also got to energize and motivate. as I said, I've been working with a large, one of the world's largest financial organizations, and I've been on a selection panel for them recently. And we've had a number of vendors come through as part of that initiative to pitch their products and services. And we've had two vendors, and I won't name them because it's not fair to name them in this instance, but we've had one vendor come through and they have been enthusiastic. They've been energetic in meetings. They've been pitching ideas. They've been getting up and being a fully part of the discussion as they deliver their sales presentation, engaging and motivating and really wanting to, they're demonstrating that they want the sale. They want to be a part of the initiative. We've had another vendor who we've had to chase on a number of occasions to give us information. When they've come in and pitched, their body language has been poor, their vocal energy has been poor. It really just communicates that they don't want the sale. And so it's a real big difference. So for you, when you're pitching, you've got to make sure that your sales pitches, when you're up on the stage, it's energetic and it's got to be motivational. It's got to get that inspiration, that energy behind it to say, yes, let's make a change. We're proud to stand behind our product services. Let's help you make your clients, let's help make your world better. And as I say, it's got to offer that solution. It's got to show them how that they can achieve the goals that they want to achieve. Now, at this point here, I just want to dive into some of these public speaking myths and deal with the fear of public speaking, because this is where a lot of people get hung up, and it's in part because there's some really quite awful and hideous public speaking myths that have been propagated. To get advice, imagine the audience naked. Don't look the audience in the eyes, they won't know the difference. That's my favorite one there because it's so bad. If you have kids, you will know that that's the last thing you want to do. If you want to engender trust in your audience, engender trust with your clients, you want to be looking them in the eyes. You want to make that eye contact. Now, yes, that can be nerve-wracking and for a newbie and a novice public speaker, but you need to do it. When you are pitching, no matter what happens, your audience doesn't want to see you fail. They want to see you do a great job because it's enjoyable for them and it's enjoyable for you. Imagine and recall a time when you've watched the speaker struggle on stage. Did you enjoy it? I would suspect the answer is no. The same is true of your clients. When you are up on stage, your audience wants you to do a reasonable job because it's more enjoyable for everybody. And everybody apparently can see your nerves and know when you've made a mistake. Rubbish. If you miss a point, if you miss something in your presentation, it doesn't come out the way you intended it to, guess what? Chances are no one is going to know the difference. So when I work with clients, I work with them on these three basic levels. Firstly, there's the newbie level public speaker. This is the speaker that is just absolutely petrified. All they can think about is themselves, and it's thinking about themselves in terms of nerves. They're worried about what the audience is thinking about them. They're thinking and imagining that the whole world can see their nerves and their shakes. Second level speaker is the speaker and the salesperson who's got comfortable. He can stand in front of a room without the knees knocking, without the completely sweaty palms and complete nervous breakdown. But they're then worried more about their message in terms of what are they going to cover in their sales pitch and is it clear and understood? So again, you see that at this point here, they've moved on to a little bit of worry about the message themselves. That's okay, but that's not going to lead you to great success in sales pitching and selling from the stage. Where you need to be is at level 3, where you are completely, your focus is all around the audience in terms of saying you're confident in your message. You know that you understand your audience. You know that you've got the right message for them. Your only concern then is to say, are you communicating in the right way such that your audience understands that message? If that's the case, then you can adapt the presentation. That's where the great salespeople, the great speakers are. They can adapt the message. They can adapt the way that they're explaining a concept, a situation, or whatever, to ensure that they are taking the audience with them on the journey. They're not leaving people behind because they're focused on their message and they're going to say it one way. They can adapt the way they say it to suit the room they're talking to. And that's where you need to be as a speaker, is up at level 3 to have success when you're selling from the stage. So to calm those nerves and sort of, we'll talk a little bit about fear. Basically, get your sales pitch done well in advance. Remember, your audiences want you to succeed. Shake hands with people as they arrive in the room so you build that rapport, that like, know, and trust factor. And if you're really nervous, get to know your opening lines off by heart. So that way you can at least get the train moving out of the station and you can build a bit of momentum. It makes a massive difference. So there's just some really quick, simple ways that you can work through that will help you overcome the fear of public speaking. So now we get into the real meaty part, the 6-step pitching model here. That this is the proven formula for how to prepare a great and successful sales pitch. Excuse me while I just take a quick drink of water. It starts out with the meet and greet. You've got to build the rapport with the room as they walk in. You can't just expect to stand on stage and build a rapport. Yes, you need to build that rapport as you're developing your sales pitch, but it starts before you even start speaking. You've got to meet and greet audiences, meet and greet your clients as they get into the room. Then you start with your opening. You then build a little bit of rapport with your story, telling your background, building your credibility. You launch into your content. You then got your irresistible close, your offer, and then Q&A. So let's go into those in a little bit more detail. But before we get into actually starting the pitch, this is crucial. This is fundamental. You have got to know who you are talking to. The better you know your audience, the greater your chances of success. If you don't know your audience, if you don't know who it is you're talking to, you don't know anything about them, you don't know what their challenge is, what their pain points, what their motivators are, your chances of successfully pitching any great idea, any great product or service to them is severely diminished. So make sure that you take the time to know who your audience is. So have a think about this. How much do they know about their particular or the particular topic or area that you're covering? Think about what it is they want. What are their wants and desires, and what do they need? And then start to think about what points have they got to agree upon to accept your idea, your proposal, your product, your service, whatever it is you're offering. What points do you think they need to agree upon before they will go, yep, I'm investing in that? Understand their situation. Think about what are their biggest pain points. Why are clients, to help you answer some of this, think about why do your existing clients buy from you? What are the reasons? What are the problems that you solve? And then you can start to map that back to your clients and say, okay, well, what's overwhelming them at the moment, and identify the big issues. There are obviously going to be some big pain points that you can help them with. And then you just got to select the ones that are most likely to pique the maximum amount of interest and give yourself the greatest opportunity for success. So following the model, we go back in here. We've got the meet and greet. You've got to, whether you're doing a webinar event, whether you're doing a live presentation, you have got to make the effort to meet and greet your audience. Get out there and shake hands, build a connection with them before you start. Don't just launch straight into your presentation, build a level of connection with them. Then you've got launch into your opening. And you'll notice the way that I structured the webinar this evening. It started with straight into some serious content before I then stepped back and did a welcome into the webinar. I also welcomed some of you as you got here online to just to sort of formulate and just say, yes, you're in the right place. So there's some things that you can do. One of the things that you'll need to do is address the elephants in the room. Now, for example, this is about the things that are going to be on people's minds as they walk in that you cannot necessarily control, but you need to acknowledge them and address them. For example, in an in-person presentation, it could be that the air conditioning's broken. Nothing you can do about that, potentially. Now, you can just, by simply acknowledging it, you allow the audience to move their thought processes away from how hot it is in the room or how cold to back onto your pitch. If you don't address the elephants in the room, your audience and your clients are going to be thinking about other things, and certainly things that you don't want them to be thinking about. You want them focused purely on your pitch and on your content. You've also got to set the agenda, show them how, and give them the confidence to know that you know where the world's starting at, where they're at the moment, and you know exactly where you're leading them to. Then go into your story. This is where you build your credibility, you build your rapport. Everyone has a great story behind them. The story of why they're in business, why they're doing what they're doing, and what experience they've had. the more personal and relatable you make this to the audience and to the clients that you're talking to, the more likely it is that you're going to have success. So make sure that you maintain a really good story file and think about how you can relate your background and your experience to the room that you're talking to. You've then got to share super valuable content. And this is talking about primarily problem plus solution. So in other words, talking about the problems that you know that your clients have, and then showing them the solutions of how it can be solved. And this is not, again, this isn't not necessarily solving it with your products or services. You can talk about this at a slightly broader, more higher level, maybe seeding a little bit about your products, your services, your solutions, but it's not a straight, here's the problem, and this is my widget, my product, my service that will solve it. It's got to be much more subtle than that. In a much more gentler way, you talk about more broadly the problem and the broad solutions of how those problems can be solved. Throughout your pitch, throughout your presentation, you've got to keep them, your audiences engaged at multiple levels, from ears to eyes to fingers. So what do I mean by this? You've got to be tailoring your content so that it's nice on the ear, so it's easy to listen to. Plenty of stories, keep your vocal delivery, for example, really engaging. Got to keep their eyes engaged. You'll notice again through this webinar presentation this evening, the PowerPoint slides are mostly images with occasional bits of text on them. They're not text-heavy slides. This is, again, keeping the eyes engaged, keeping it fast-moving, you'll notice tonight. And fingers is about giving people the opportunity to either write things down or get engaged by typing in answers to questions. So those are three things there that will make a difference and keep your audience engaged and a part of the conversation with you as you deliver your sales presentation. And that's the key point there, is that you are speaking to one person. Even if there's a room of 100 people in there, you are speaking to 100 individuals. So again, you're going to make it feel and make it a conversation for each one of them, so that they feel that they're having a one-on-one conversation with you, or you're having a one-on-one conversation with them. Make sure that you tailor your material correctly. The better you anticipate their thoughts, and this again comes back to knowing how well you know your audience, the more likely you are to succeed. So anticipate their thought process in terms of knowing where they're at the start, and then guiding their thoughts and guiding their thinking through the process. So don't go racing off down tangents that they don't understand. Try and make sure you anticipate their thoughts. Come back and ask questions plenty of times, to sit there and say, do you understand this? Is there anything that I've missed? Is there any questions, anything that is of concern to you? Make sure that you're always anticipating their thoughts and asking questions to ensure that you're not losing your audience. Couple this with some exciting language. We get caught up in, I don't know whether it's just an Australian nature, whether it's a corporate nature, business nature, but we don't want to use exciting language. Use some of these words. Steve Jobs was the master at this. Look at the way he described the Apple products, the iPads, the MacBooks, the iPhones. He described them as being unbelievable, incredible, exciting, insanely great. You see how much fun and like, that's how you want to be behind your products and services, to sit and say that we've got this incredible offering. It generates some unbelievable results for our clients. And it's, I mean, maybe you don't want to describe it as the #1 lust object, but you mean you've got opportunity here to get some really quite exciting language about how you describe your products and services. Use those kinds of words, and then close with that irresistible offer, that offer which they're not going to want to refuse, because you've shown them the problem, you've shown them broadly how the solutions can map out, and this is how you then start to tie your products, your services back into those solutions. As I said earlier, you've got to deliver it with real energy, real passion, real enthusiasm. Make it something that you're proud to stand behind, because you're convinced about it. Because if you're not convinced about it, your client isn't going to be convinced. So make sure that you're energetic, you're enthusiastic about your product and service, and deliver it with some real energy. Share the benefits of your product and service. So sell the sizzle, not the steak. I mean, this comes back to the old David Ogilvy advertising mantra. You really have got to sell the benefits here. You've got to talk about the benefits of your product. I mean, we can look at the iPhone as an example. the iPhone is effectively a phone and an iPod. Yeah, big whoop. Then there's really not that much exciting about it, but there's lots of benefits to it. And that's where Steve Jobs sold it, was on the benefits of it. He made it cool. You've got to sell your products, your service. I'd be curious to know, what is your product? What is your service that you are selling? Because then we can start to work through what are the benefits of those products or services. We can go to an accountant. An accountant is an accountant is an accountant. There's nothing much difference between any of them. They're all, there's no differentiation. The reason we go to accountants is because the benefits they provide. Same with tires. Car tires are sold on benefits, not on the features. The features of a car tire is that it's round, it's made of rubber, and it's got grooves cut in it. But there are benefits of protecting the family or of going faster. That's how tires are sold, depending on which tires you buy. So again, think about why your clients use your products and services. Why do your current client base purchase your products? Why do they purchase your services? Because that will give you the clue of the benefits that you can be communicating to with your clients or your potential clients. Now, as you do this, as you talk about your product, your service, and your offering, you've got to do it in such a way that you're showing that you're boosting their ego. In other words, why is your product or service good for their ego? How will it help them achieve more? How will it help them get extra in their business life, in their personal life, depending upon what it is you're selling? And how will it help them be happier? And then, just to throw just one last little curveball in here at this point here, you've got to pull and push. What do I mean by that? You've got to show them how your product or service can help them attain extra, and how it can help them avoid losing things that they hold dear. So that's the pull and the push. It's how can you help get more, and how can you avoid losing something you already have? So that's the pull and the push. Make sure that you've got both angles covered, because unless you know your client well enough, you're not going to know whether they're attracted to or whether they want to move away from certain things. Part of your irresistible offer needs to have social proof. If you've got an existing client base, you've got testimonials. Go and ask them, get some testimonials from them so that you can cover off and show that your product or service is used by real people in real situations, that there are the more relevant you make those testimonials, the more powerful they're going to be. So if you're selling to a law firm and you've got a testimonial from a law firm, guess which testimonial you're going to use? You're going to use a legal testimonial. If you're selling to accountants and you've got an engineer's testimonial, yes, it can be useful, but it's not going to be as powerful as if you've got another accountant sharing a testimonial of how wonderful your product or service is. So what's going to make a great testimonial for you? Firstly, it's got to have real language in it. Now, you don't want to be sort of editing out and making everything too perfect. To have real language in this, that means you're going to have the way people speak is different to the way they write. Doesn't matter. Use the way they speak. Also, get them to include the real results. So get them to be specific about what it is that they've achieved as a result of using your product or your service. So get testimonials, again, that are going to align to what you're selling. Get testimonials that address common objections. So if you know that there are common concerns, common areas where people hesitate before they invest in your product or service, get testimonials that address those issues, because then it's going to help you make that sale, make it more easy. Then you conduct your Q&A. And guess what the Q&A is? The Q&A is basically an opportunity for you to answer questions that are effectively objections. So people are confused, they've got hesitation for whatever reason. You need to answer those questions from a viewpoint of an objection, so you can show that how your product and service is, you can quote unquote overcome that objection. So when you're able to take this 6-step formula, when you're able to craft a pitch and you can effectively stand in front of an audience and sell from the stage, it applies whether or not you're pitching to clients in a one-on-one situation here. So it can be a small group, it can be a larger group. You can start to pitch to any size audience. You get the opportunity to share your expertise and, importantly, share your message. Get your value to the world put out there. As a result, you will get invited because you are seen as being a good speaker, you're seen as being a valuable resource, you're seen as being an expert. You get invited to speak at other people's events. So it's an opportunity there for someone else to pull together an audience on your behalf, and you get to go out there, A, be the expert, and B, make sales. How good is that? If you don't want to speak at other people's events, or you want to add more events in, why not go ahead and create your own events? You can create your own in-person events where you get people into the room, and opportunity for you to pitch your products and services and demonstrate how good you are, and get them to effectively then buy more of you. You can also do what I'm doing tonight. Create your own events online. Webinars are wonderful because you can do them from the comfort of your home or from your office. Wherever it suits you, you can create and deliver a pitch which positions you as an expert and gives the opportunity for people to invest in your products and services if they want. When you do that, then you and your business gets the spotlight. In other words, you get to own the attention of your market, and you get to command it. No one else can take that spotlight off from you. You get to then pick and choose the clients that you work with, because you get to have, your pipeline is full, you get more people coming in, so you get to be far more selective about who you work with. So you can then really start to ensure that you work with only the clients that you do your best work with and that give you the most enjoyment. As a result, you actually end up working less because your pipeline is full, because you're seen as the expert. People come to you. You don't have to spend so much time and effort investing into marketing your products and services and being out there as the salesman. People come to you already pre-sold, and because of that, they will pay the premium fees that you want to charge them. So it's a beautiful mechanism for ensuring that you can increase your income by being up there selling from the stage, selling to larger audiences, crafting that right message so that people come to you. You get to charge the fees that you want and work with only the people that you want. So here's some tips to think about, and to sort of 7 things to sort of, as we get to the end of this webinar, is basically remember, public speaking is going to position you as the expert and fill your pipeline. But you have got to be clear on who you're talking to and what your message is. Make sure that you invest in building a connection and credibility, and building your credibility before you go anywhere near selling anything, which is why we have that meet and greet, and we have the section on your story. You can use the 6-step structure to help you craft the perfect presentation. You can then provide that valuable and actionable content. Make sure that when you're pitching and sharing your offer, you're talking about benefits and not features. And smile, enjoy the process, be passionate, and stand behind your products and services. This is Bev. This is one of my clients who I worked with a little while ago. Bev, and this is the power of having a really well-crafted, well-thought-out pitch. Bev did a 60-second elevator pitch at the New South Wales Business Chamber with about 200 or 300 people in the room. In 60 seconds, she got 4 new clients because she had the right pitch for the right room. That's the power of having a perfect sales pitch and a perfect pitch in terms of being prepared to get up on the stage. Bev was nervous. She was really self-conscious about getting up and doing any form of public speaking, even just for 60 seconds. But we worked together. We crafted a message, got her confidence up, and as a result, she got 4 new clients. That's a worthwhile investment of 60 seconds worth of time in my book. So if you want help, there are a couple of ways that I can help you. Firstly, you can go to the Public Speaking Skills Academy website and check out all of the articles and free content available there. I also have a sales breakthrough session, which I'm launching, which is just a free 30-minute consultation where we can sit down and have a look at your current sales and pitching activities. We'll review everything from your prospecting activities to looking at how well you're identifying client needs and wants. We'll go through, obviously, your sales pitch and how well you're presenting and pitching your offer. Look at how you handle objections and how you ultimately close the sale. Basically, at the end of 30 minutes, we will have a plan for you to reach your ideal client. We'll uncover all the challenges and obstacles that are preventing you from getting the success that you want, and you will be re-energized in your business. So if that's something you want, then you can go and apply for a sales breakthrough session at the Public Speaking Skills Academy /business breakthrough session application, or you can just drop a comment into the chat box here, and we will connect up and get you booked in for a business breakthrough session. if you know that you want to, then I have my Sales Authority Inner Circle. This is my mastermind group where we get together on a monthly basis and we go through in depth into different areas of sales and speaking topics. So from prospecting through to speaking and pitching, through to positioning yourself as authority, how to master networking and networking events, both online and offline. So for example, how to network effectively on LinkedIn, just so you can draw more leads and get more conversations and have those effective sales meetings. We meet monthly online, so you can get to join this group and be a part of it from no matter where you are in the world. You can jump on and be a part of the activities. You get unlimited access to my Facebook group. You get unlimited phone and email access to me, so you can get your questions answered. If you sit there and you go, oh my God, I've got a big sales pitch coming up next week, jump online. We will have a conversation. We can bounce through so that your sales pitch is polished and ready to go and get the results that you want. And it's an option as well to network with other high-performing business owners and individuals. That there is just $197 plus GST a month. If you want to jump on that, you can go jump online on the website, or again, just drop a comment on the chat box and we can get you connected up with the Inner Circle. Or I have one-on-one mentoring packages. These start at $680 a month plus GST, where we will work together and again, go through all of the sales and pitching and prospecting activities so that you can get the results in business and in your sales that you are looking to. If there are any last questions, we can work through those. Otherwise, that is the end of the content that I had planned for this evening. If there's no questions, I will just put up my contact details. And again, anybody that wants to reach out to me, you can get me on, obviously, through the website at publicspeakingskillsacademy.com, or email me at mark@publicspeakingskillsacademy.com. If there are no further questions, we will wrap it up here. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for participating in this event, and we will talk soon.